it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I post a new video. If you don't know who I am, before we get into today's main topic, I am Sandra Burmy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Story book out on Amazon. I'm also the author of Fibromyalgia, Self-Help and Book. These are both on Amazon. Grab your copies there. Oh, so yes, today I've got a very interesting episode. Today, or should I say in the last 24 hours, has been one of the most weirdest days of my life. Like, seriously strange and weird things. And the juxtapositions, the like parallels and the kind of like triangle is bizarre. So yesterday I did a very emotional video for you, and it was all about the fact of how I got hurt by my friend who I've been friends with for like 3 or 4 years online. I think it's about 4 years. I think it's since 2018. And this is my only Indian guy friend that I've constantly kept in touch with over the years. And I blocked him on Facebook because I felt that he was being dishonest and that he was friending my friends, which are some of my friends, which are older women in the UK, because I thought that he'd gone back to his old ways or not changed, basically, and was friending women to get into the UK, some of which was my friends. Obviously, I didn't want that happening, so I had to block him on there, which was really devastating and shocking. I had to do that, right? Because I've been friends with him for so long. Anyway, he did email me, and I did allow him to email me. I wanted to hear what he had to say. So yesterday's video is about should you hear what someone has to say. And I don't believe you should hear what they have to say if they're a narcissist or abuser. I think you should get the hell away from them as quick as possible, block them, don't speak to them, go cold turkey on them, and just end it, because that you have to walk away from any type of abusive relationship, because literally if you don't, they'll just keep doing it, right? Anything that's really bad behavior like it's not acceptable, so you need to walk away. Now, this person who I did hear out, I heard his excuses and things like that. I last night was really upset. I ended up crying myself to sleep because I was thinking about all the times we've had together over the years. Now, this person who's Indian, I have to let you know, he isn't narcissistic or abusive. He hasn't given me any indication that he's that, but he did lie to me. So it's like he's actually quite healthy in some ways, but not obviously if he's lied. And he still can't admit that he lied to me, which is what's even worse. But anyway, I was really upset last night. I was crying loads because I was thinking of all that we have gone through together. And this guy has been very supportive over the years. He's really promoted my asexual work that I do. He's really got behind me on all the work I do for asexuals. He's promoted my other pages, like my fibromyalgia book, for me as well. He's always been there in comments a lot. He's been regularly like making comments on my posts, and he's been there for me throughout the years. So this particular guy, I can see that the friendship I've had with him for 3 or 4 years, this Indian guy, has been, you know, he's been a real friend for me, because he has actually had an equal hand in the friendship. It's been a team effort. It hasn't been me messaging him all the time and me doing all the work. He's done a lot of work himself in the friendship. And after all, that's what friendship is about. True friendship is about when both people work together, both people want to make it work, both people message each other, both people support each other. And, you know, this is what a really healthy friendship has been like. So when I first met this Indian guy, he wasn't a good guy. And he was going around friending women, including me, trying to get into the UK. And it was really bad. But I thought he changed. And then recently I had suspicions that he hadn't changed, because he friended some of my older friends in the UK. So anyway, I obviously, you can decide whatever you want to do in life. You can decide whatever path you want to take. Every action has a consequence and a reaction. I'm thinking, do I want to completely lose this guy as my friend forever? Or should I continue to talk to him a bit and find out more about what's going on for him? Should I just walk away because he's lied to me and he still can't admit that he's lied? But I've been friends with him for such a long time, and when I think back about all the times he's been there for me, that makes it harder for me to walk away, because I think that, like, yes, he's not told me the truth completely. Yes, he's lied, and that's bad. And in some ways, I should just walk away for good and never ever look back. But he's always been a really good friend to me, and he's always made me feel beautiful. Like, any time in my life, he's always made me feel beautiful and tried to make me feel happy and supported. And so he isn't a bad guy overall, he's got a lot of good qualities. He used to tag me in posts with his friends like I was with him, and I've met some of his family on camera, and if a guy doesn't really care about you, he doesn't do those type of things. And so I got really upset about the thought of, like, me never speaking to him again. And, obviously I still have to keep that as an option for myself, because if he carried on displaying what I would call not good behavior, or carried on with more lies, then, I've got to think about a possibility of still walking away from him for good, even though he's been a really good friend. But at the moment, as it stands, I thought, he's currently deleted his Facebook. I thought that I should tell him how I feel about him. So it's been one of the most weirdest 24 hours of my life. And so anyway, I thought, Sandra, you can either not respond to his last message, his last email, because we're only conversing through email. I didn't want to answer at the time. I thought, there's no point in answering it, because we're just going to go around in circles with me saying you lied and him saying I haven't. So I thought, what can you do? Should you write him a long email to explain how you feel, which is basically a long letter, but in email form? So I decided, after hours and hours of crying, you can see my eye here is so sore from crying, but also my eye's been weeping even after I stopped crying, probably because the tears still want to come, you know what I mean? So anyway, I made the conscious decision that I am going to email this guy everything I feel and think about him, regardless of whether he feels the same way, or he is a good guy, or I think he's a good guy overall, but there's still some things that are not so good about him, right? And so I thought, either I love to live a life of no regrets, right? And so I have to do the right thing by me, right? So it doesn't matter on his response whether he feels the same way, whether he doesn't. I needed to what I call purge, and I think this is a very good thing to do sometimes. Like, obviously, I've said, if it's a narcissist or abuser, you walk away, you don't go back, you go cold turkey. In other words, you cut them off. End of story, like that. If they're being abusive, they're putting you down, they're being horrible to you, you leave that situation. It's no choice. You go, right? Right? You just go. It hurts like hell, but you have to do it, right? But with this particular person, he's not narcissistic. He's not an abuser. He's always wanted me to be happy. He's always supported me a lot over the years. He's always been there for me a lot of the time. And so, I value that when I looked back, because one of the people on Facebook said to me, I didn't put loads of details on Facebook, because I just said that I'm really upset and felt upset and betrayed, and I've had to block someone who's been my friend for years, and I've seen some of his family on video. That's basically what I said. At the time, someone was asking me a bit more, so I said that he used to be this type of person, but he's not like this anymore. I didn't think he was. But obviously there's still some details that I don't share because it's still private, so I have to be careful what I say, because I still respect people's privacy no matter what happens. Thank you for the thumbs up. And I have to, give so much that people know what I'm talking about, on this channel, but not so much as to completely not maintain someone's privacy, because I am good at keeping secrets and keeping privacy, and it's a fine juggling act sometimes between telling you on this channel what you need to know in terms of sharing my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours, and also respecting the person's privacy and making sure that I haven't said too much. So it's a fine balance, but my closest friends, they trust me implicitly. and they know that they come on this channel in chat sometimes, so they know that I'm totally trustworthy. They know that I keep private stuff private. I need to keep private, you know. And anyway, so there's a lot of qualities I like about this guy, and anyway, so I thought to myself, shall I write him this long letter in an email form, basically? And I've learned to do this. So I've learned over the years that actually bottling your emotions up, suppressing them, is a really bad thing to do, right? We're taught as a society, don't cry, it's weak, don't do this, don't do that, don't show emotion. It's absolute bollocks. Excuse my language, but it really is, right? Anyone who tells you that is not healthy themselves, because they're bottling things up, right? You know, and they've all suppressed emotions that are going to come out in ways that are not healthy, right? And so, but obviously you can't be so splurging emotions all the time that you haven't got any control whatsoever. You have to do, you have to reel yourself in as well. So you have to give yourself enough time to let emotions out as constructively as possible. And then at one point you have to say, that's enough now. I have to stop crying, because I'll just carry on the cycle of crying, right? So you have to be firm with yourself, but you have to let them out as well, which is why you see me on this channel crying, because I want to stop the taboos people have about crying and in front of people. I want to stop it. I want people to stop thinking it's a weakness, because it's actually making people very mentally ill and coming out in mean ways and coming out in unhealthy ways, you know, and this has got to stop. And there shouldn't be so much stigma around people showing upset and crying. There shouldn't be this stigma and this taboo. You know, this really needs to stop, because it's not healthy. Why should we be ashamed of crying and expressing emotions? You know, it's, you know, you see people on the streets arguing or whatever. You see people shouting joyous things. You see people at rugby matches, football matches saying, hey, come on, come on, come on, or whatever they do. See people at concerts showing emotion. So why is it you can't show crying and pain in that way? Why is it some emotions are okay to show, but others are not? It's just rubbish, right? So we need to break the stigma and that. And I want to show you that it's okay to cry. And it's not a weakness. It's actually a great strength to be able to cry and still know I'm strong. To be able to know that I'm sensitive and vulnerable, and some ways you could say vulnerable adult, but in other ways I'm really strong. It shows great courage and strength to be able to be crying 1 minute and then, hey, saying, but I'm consciously deciding something and I'm being strong in this way. You know, it takes a lot of courage, right? So we have to understand this, and we have to not be ashamed of shedding tears, right? And so anyway, I decided that I needed to get it all out, because I like to do what I call a splurge and a purge. It's a splurge and a purge, if you like. So what the splurge and a purge method is, I should actually start doing this as a proper course. The splurge and the surge. I can't even say it all now, but yeah. Anyway, so basically, it's basically you need to purge your emotions out, right? But I'm talking about writing a letter to the person that you love or care about if they've done you wrong. Should you do it? Narcissist or abuser? No, they'll use it against you, right? If you're not sure about if you're not sure if someone's a narcissist or abuser yet, you have suspicions, be very careful. Be very careful. Go with your intuition, right? If you think that they're going to use it against you, don't do it, right? But if you've got a person who overall is healthy, they're not abusive, they're not a person who'll belittle you or use what you say against you, they're a healthy individual overall, but they got some shite going on, excuse my language, that they need to be dealing with, then, you know, but you need to do it for you, right? I decided to write this long email for me, because I needed to say this stuff. I had so many things that I wasn't happy about with this person, that they'd done this, that, and that, but so many things that I loved about this person. And I really wanted to put it all down in an email, because I feel that I've repressed some of that stuff. That I've kept some of it to myself, what I really think and feel, and that's not healthy and good. So I thought, you know, I don't know if it was going to be the end of a conversation forever, or if it's just going to be me, you know, they're going to reply to me. I just wanted to get it out for me, whatever happens, because I need to offload, if you know what I mean. You can't move on to a new chapter in your life or a new thing, really, unless you've got it out, right? And you can't really rebuild any friendship or relationship unless you get the stuff out. One of the worst things people do is get back into a relationship and they never discuss what the problems were in the first place. And they don't do anything about it. So you just repeat the same cycle over and over again. It's all pain again. It's all splitting up again. It's all a heartache. You know what I mean? Unless you tackle the problems head on, nothing ever changes. So anyway, I wrote this email out to my Indian friend. Took me a long time. Must have taken me over an hour to do. And I just purged what I thought. And I did it with heart and soul. And I told this guy that I loved him. That I don't know if it's friendship love or more than that with aesthetic and romantic attraction. But it's more than I would usually feel for the normal friend, if you know what I mean. But in the least, it's friendship love. And so then I went on to say more about actual love in a romantic way. And I started to talk about the fact that I have thought about him in a relationship with me in the UK. I have thought about introducing him to my parents. I have thought about stuff like I've thought about him being near me and stroking my hair and telling me everything's going to be okay. This is very personal stuff. This is very feelings. Don't forget this guy has told a lie to me, although he said he's not. But he told me he didn't try and friend anyone, but he did, because I know he friended my friend. So anyway, yes. Anyway. So I said I still loved him, even though I knew he'd lied to me, which is a really big thing, because it's like, should you say to a person you love them if they've lied to you? Because at the end of the day, isn't that accepting their bad behaviour? Well, no, because I'm not saying their behaviour is right. I'm not saying that they deserve for me to love them in the sense they're worthy of someone loving them who is honest when they're not. But I wanted them to know they're loved, because I just felt spiritually that it's something that I needed to tell them, because they have said that they're getting therapy. And so I thought they probably are going through a hard time and stuff themselves. They've always supported me in the past, so maybe I should show a little bit of support, even if they've lied to me. Now, it's weird because I don't usually agree with that in so many ways. And that's had to be a conscious decision. Like, do I go with that or do I just walk away? And I'm thinking, well, they've given you loads of support over the years. They've always been there for you a lot of the time. They're healthy usually. They've always made you feel beautiful, even when I've like literally I don't think I've even combed my hair sometimes, and I'm really poorly or something, look a mess. They're like, oh, you're always beautiful. And they've always made me feel beautiful and special, always. You know, there's never been a time when they've never made me feel good about my looks, always made me feel great, you know. And they've always said, oh, you know, don't worry, be happy. And they've always said, you know, they want me to be happy. And they've always tried to raise my spirits higher, you know. So there is a lot of good stuff that I can see about this person. And usually I wouldn't be so like forgiving. I'm not saying I've forgiven this person completely, but I wouldn't usually be so forgiving or so lenient, if you like. But I think no one is perfect. And I just see everything they've done for me. One person on Facebook said, oh, maybe you take time out and reflect. And I did. And maybe it's not the answer I thought I'd get. I thought by reflecting, I'd see how bad things were and just go. And I'm like, naturally, I saw the opposite. I saw a lot of the things they've done for me over the years, a lot of the times we'd spent together, a lot of the way he's been with me. And I did actually at one point think he might be suitable for a relationship for me, because he ticks a lot of my boxes, you know, because he's very... you know, he doesn't care what his family think. He's quite happy to show me to his family. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't worry about what society thinks. And, you know, he promotes asexual work that I do and all that type of thing. So I thought he'd be very suitable in those type of ways. Anyway, yeah, so I did all this letter and everything. And, you know, I just thought, I need to get it out, and this person needs to know they're loved. I just need to tell them that, because if they're having therapy, obviously they're going through a hard time, and not that that's an excuse for their behavior, but I just thought I should be there for them because they've been there for me throughout the years, you know? And so anyway, I told them this, and you know, and that was quite brave of me, I think, you know, but I just wanted to get it all out. I said some things that weren't so good that I didn't like, that was weird. Some things are weird in a good way, some things weird in a not good way. And so anyway, yeah, I kind of told this person how I feel, and they reiterated they are getting help from their doctor. They are getting therapy because they're seeing a psychiatrist, I think it is, or psychotherapist. Psychotherapist, I think it is, doctor and psychotherapist. And they're trying to get help. And they said that he didn't want to lose me as a friend and that I'll always be in the life. So I guess that was kind of like a nice end to the conversation, and they did reiterate, you know, that they weren't good in the past, but they have changed. So although I've been skeptical that that's true lately, so I'm still a bit skeptical, I'm going to be honest. But anyway, so he's got to do work on himself now, which he said he's trying to get help for. So at the end of the day, I do admire someone who's going to a therapist, who's trying to get help, who's trying to change his life. And he said he wanted to create the new version of him, if you know what I mean, recreate the person. So I think that's a really good thing he's doing. I'm really proud of him for that. I'm really glad that he's not one of these macho guys who's like, I don't need therapy, and doesn't really want to make lasting change and get serious help. So I think that's really good of him. I'm really proud of him for that. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I'm just glad I told him, you know. I didn't actually realise I had this deep love for him, friendship or otherwise, till I know I've always been attracted to him, but I've never felt like deep friendship love for him before. It's very weird. It's only since this happened that I figured that out. It's kind of like deep friendship love, but with aesthetic and romantic attraction. But then I start thinking about a full-blown romantic relationship with this guy. It's kind of weird. So yeah, but you know, the best relationships usually are born on proper true friendship, right? And deep love for that person, even if it's friendship-wise. But anyway, it is what it is. I've only ever, you know, online at the moment, I only love one other person. Have love for one other person. I don't really know why I have love for him, and it's deep friendship love for him as well. It's bizarre. And he's good looking as well, but yeah. But yeah, so kind of that's really, really weird. You know, doing that. But I did it. And then what's even weirder, very, very bizarre with what I've just said, and the title of this video, which I'd already decided on, you know, for you, is then I get this postcard. Now, this postcard here is from the guy that I received, well, I say today, but it's yesterday now, but I received on Tuesday. And I'm recording this on Wednesday. And yeah, this is from the guy I was dating last year, the Tunisian guy. And I stopped dating him, online dating him, on the 1st of November, and I had to cut off from him. Now, the guy who sent me this, he was very bad. He said some really horrible stuff, put me down about my looks, and threatened to leave me, and laughed at my expense. And I thought, this guy's just not serious about me. He's just messing with my emotions. So I had to block him really quickly, and yeah, and then he was trying to friend my friends and say stuff in private message to my friends, and he said a horrible thing to one of my friends, really nasty message. You might have seen the video about it. He stalked me. He created fake profiles. He came. I no doubt he was behind the people that were horrible to me about my age in chat. I think he was probably creating those fake profiles where people were coming in and being nasty to me about my age. And it's like, well, you're the one that was attracted to me. If you weren't attracted to me, you know, like, I could understand, but you were attracted to me. So, and you know, like, age is just a number at the end of the day. There's people a lot older than me. And, you know, and so I think he was behind a lot of the trolling that I got with that, and creating fake profiles for that, and said some horrible stuff about my age. And that's like, well, you were attracted to me. if you were attracted to me and have a problem with age, what does that say about you? You know what I mean? So, you know, anyway, he set up fake Facebook accounts, fake Twitter profiles, and it was just a horrible campaign, like a hate campaign against me. And it wasn't nice at all. I guess he wanted revenge and stuff. But I don't know why, because he wanted out. He was like, "Oh, going to leave me anyway," and laughing at it. So I did him a favor, you know. So, you know, and then he was complaining about if he's complaining about my age, then I walked away. He should be thanking me. So anyway, yeah, so kind of that was the end of that. And he thought it for quite a while, and then I noticed before Christmas his mother had got an account or something. I know his mum's name, so it was his mum appeared on one of my Facebook videos account, but it sent a link to a YouTube video that just disappeared. So I thought, oh, clearly he's probably watching through his mother's account, or his mum's there anyway. So anyway, yeah, and then he wrote me a postcard a few months ago saying I wouldn't hear from him again, and then I've heard from him, right? So it's kind of ironic, really, that I wrote a letter to the Indian guy, and then this guy's writing a really kind of long letter to me via postcard. It's probably one of the longest things you can get by postcard, because it literally is typed up and pasted, like glued on there, and so he could fit as much as he wanted to say in there. So it kind of feels weird that I was there kind of like spilling all my emotions and feelings out for an Indian guy. Yeah, he's there spilling his emotions and feelings out for me. It's kind of like a bit like a love triangle, but without being an actual love triangle. It's a bit weird. So it's one of the most bizarre feelings. I'm like, this is just so like parallel universes. It's like I'm writing a love letter to, well, it's not a full-on love letter, but like a love letter to the Indian guy. And then, because obviously it was criticism in there as well, constructive criticism, and observations. And then, you know, this Tunisian guy's writing to me, telling me how he feels about me. But so in this postcard, he's basically saying that he understands why I had to block him because of his stupid behavior and like get him out of my life. And he's saying that, you know, that he basically he's still into me. He tried to get over me, but couldn't. And he thinks about me every night when his head hits the pillow. And he talks about being soulmate connected and things like that, and that we're always meant to be together. But he talks like we're still together, because he's like calling me his baby girl. It's like, well, I'm not actually your baby girl, because it's like in terms of a relationship, because I'm not in a relationship with you or dating you. So the postcard's very much, he's saying stuff about the fact that he's changed. He's saying that his heart memories are still in the past, you know, and stuff like that, you know. He's saying basically, you know, that he misses me so much, really still adore me deeply. You know, so, you know, but he said that he said basically you may get confused and say so yeah, he basically said that he wanted to know if I would give him another chance at the relationship. You may get confused and say, no way, that lad will get changed, and there is no good to make a backward step and restart a relation with him. Well, I'd like to say that I'm really changing to the better person that you expected me to be. I've passed the past months learning about a lot about boundaries and how a healthy love's supposed to be, about being strictly respectful to others' emotions and expense. Seriously. So yeah, it's kind of like, you know, 4 months is not enough time for someone to change. You know, I'm glad he's learning about this. I'm glad he's took my advice. I'm glad he is doing that for himself. I'm really pleased with him for himself in that way. I'm glad that he's doing that and he's chosen to do that. However, just learning about something in theory doesn't mean to say that this person is putting it into practice. And in order to, you know, make life changes, it's going to take more than 4 months to do it, because they're probably just going to slip back into the old patterns again. Because it takes a long time to break habits and patterns that have been going for a lifetime. And so I would like to see what happens in the next couple of years with him, whether he really does make changes, and you can see the changes, and and if he truly does change, because people don't change that quickly. And just like I said, reading up about something is not, and learning about it's not the same as putting it into practice, right? If I really am his soulmate, he'll still be loving me in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time. It won't change, no matter who comes his way. So, you know what I mean? By that time, he's got time to actually work on himself for the next few years, hasn't he? Not just 4 months. And so, he can't come to the UK anyway. I made it categorically clear to him that I do not want an online relationship. So asking me to go back to a relationship, one, with all he's done, is I doubt I could ever trust him again. And two, is I doubt he's made lasting change in 4 months, or less, because he might not have started learning it straight away. And then, three, he can't even come over here. It would probably take him at least 5 years to even possibly get over here. As far as I know, he's studying for 3 years. And then he can't just directly get into the UK. He would have to go to Canada or somewhere, and then he would have to come from Canada to the UK or something, or he'd have to go to France and then come to the UK. But he can't, unless he's got a person sponsoring him for a job permanently here, or comes as a student, which he can't afford anyway. It just is not going to happen. So it's pretty pointless him even saying about me considering a relationship with him, when I've told him categorically I'm not going to have an online relationship. It's not what I want. I don't want an online relationship with someone where I can't kiss and cuddle them and can't be with them in person. That's never, ever my wish. And that wouldn't make me happy. So, like I said, I'd be interested to see if this guy still feels the same way about me in 2 years' time and has actually done the work, Also, on here, there is no actual reference to therapy. He needed to get some therapy, in my opinion, for the way he behaved. For the fact he had a lot of moodiness, but I don't see any action being taken on actually getting a therapist and saying, hey, I've got a problem, I really need to get it sorted out like that. So to actually work with a therapist, I don't see anything like that. There's no evidence of that. So I think the guy's still got a lot of work to do. I don't particularly think I should get back with someone like that. I did have a lot of feelings for him. I did love him totally, completely, even though I thought I couldn't love anyone but an Indian guy. So that was kind of shocking. I'm still not fully over him. I still have some feelings for him, but it's I'm 4 months of an 8-month getting over stage. So I got 4 more months to go and I should be hopefully over him enough. But it's a long process for me. So, I've still got 4 months to go. I still have some things. But when I see that, I don't react to it like I used to. It's more of a case of, okay, okay. Well, in a way, it's nice you're still thinking about me and have feelings for me, because it proves that you did feel something for me, even if I'm an older girl. But, and that that you've lost a precious person in your life. I think that's important that he's seeing my value in that way. But like I said, I don't really think someone can change in 4 months. And so, I think he, if it's true, if he does really feel the way he feels about me, then that's not going to change, whether it's 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, or 5 years later. He's still going to have those feelings for me. And then it's up to him, if he wanted to try and come to the UK. But it doesn't mean to get back with him anyway. Because it's kind of even with the Indian guy that I spoke about and that I wrote about my, told him about my feelings, and with this Tunisian guy, both of them have not been completely honest with me. But the Indian guy's always been a healthy guy. He's never put me down. He's always made me feel special. He's always supported me. He's always been very healthy like that, whereas the Tunisian guy hasn't. I got a long-standing history with the Indian guy at 3 or 4 years, whereas the Tunisian guy 4.5 months, I think it was in total. Very big difference, And the Indian guy I feel quite safe around, like, even though he's heterosexual, as far as I know, he can live without sex, and I've always felt really comfortable around him. I've never felt like he would do sexual stuff with me. I felt like he would kiss me and stuff, but that's probably about it because he knows I don't like that other stuff. So I've always thought he really respected me and cared about me in that way. So yeah, so it's been a kind of a weird day. It's kind of been like parallel universe. It's like, well, I'm doing this with the Indian guy. The Tunisian guy's doing this with me. Do I have feelings for both of the Indian guy and Tunisian guy? Yes. Sometimes a little voice pops in my head saying the other Indian guy from last year is still going to come back in 2023 or 2024, but I'm trying to like not go there because hopefully you wouldn't. Because I think that's done. The death is gone. But but I'll probably end up with none of these people, and I'll just end up either staying single for life, or I'll end up, I'll end up just with someone completely different, someone who I totally trust from the off, who's not done all this rubbish stuff, never lied in his life, never lied to me, and can give me the relationship I truly deserve and desire, because I don't really want to start a relationship again or at all with someone I don't totally trust, because once the trust is broken, so is there in your back of mind, like, are they just gonna be like that again? Are they gonna just like let you down? Are they gonna start lying or being dishonest or not telling you the whole truth? And so for me personally, I don't want to go through that again, it's just too much. So I do know some people forgive people. I do know some couples get back together. I do know it does happen, but I think it's very rare. And I think it has to happen years later, not so quickly, But a Tunisian guy's never going to be able to come over to the UK. I mean, he would have to really change the way he was and also find his own way to the UK, which would be the greatest challenge of his life. I mean, obviously, if someone really truly loves someone, they'll do it. They just do whatever it takes to do it, and they would just not stop until they've done it. But yeah, it's not going to be viable, is it? Because I've completely already said to them I can't do an online relationship with the Indian guy. Like, he has showed that before that he's attracted to me aesthetic romantically, and he in the past he indicated he would come to the UK. So I don't know if that would ever happen. I'm not going to hold my breath, but yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? I kind of feel like I'm caught up in a love triangle when I'm not really, because I'm not in a relationship with any of these people. But yeah, in terms of feelings, I guess it's weird because as a hyper-romantic, I can love more than one person at once. I don't want to be like that, but it's just something I naturally can do. So yeah, it gets very complicated. It's like, how can you have love feelings for two different people? It's like, because I can. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's because it's the way I am made. It's very weird. So yeah, it's bizarre. But yes, so that's kind of it, really. Should you write a long love letter to someone? Should you write a long letter to someone you love? If things have gone wrong, I think you should. If, like I said, they're not a narcissist or abuser, I think you should, for yourself, get out your feelings and your emotions, because they make them less intense, usually, in my experience. So if you're experiencing a load of intense emotions, it's better to get it out and tell the person how you feel. I wish that the Tunisian guy had been different. I wish that he'd like older women from the off. I wished he'd loved my body from the off. Even though he's asexual, I wished that he hadn't done what he'd done, and I wished he would have been careful about the Facebook friends he had. I mean, even now, like, he's saying, "Oh, I understand boundaries and stuff." I wonder, he's probably still got the same 849 plus Facebook friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're boundary driven, you cut down the amount of Facebook friends you have. People you haven't spoke to for years, or people that are no good for you, people that you are kind of like being bad with or something. You know what I mean? And I just really don't get why people have to add so many random people. I do add some random people to mine, but I'm kind of like doing business stuff on my Facebook profile, so it's a bit more like acceptable, if you know what I mean. And even then, I've got like or 80 plus people or more that Facebook friended me and I haven't responded. I keep some of them there because they're business people I might need to use. I might need to like speak to them and have them interviewed at a later date on my Make Money Make Cash channel. For the moment, I don't need them for that purpose. But there's some people they just friend request and I just don't bother responding. I get a lot of them, you know, and I'm very boundary driven, so everyone's safe with me anyway. So yeah, you know, I would definitely say, you know, write the letter if you feel you need to, purge your problems, you know, your feelings, emotions, get it all out in the open because it's better out than in, and it's much more healthy for you to explain how you feel because you can't move on until you do. Doesn't mean to say you aren't going to move on, but you can't move on until you've actually got the feelings out. And it kind of helps you. It kind of helps you to grieve as well, if you have got to lose a relationship. But your message, your letter might not be welcomed by someone, so you have to understand that side of things as well. Anyway, I hope you've been useful. I hope you found this useful, helpful. So if you have, please give an emoji. Don't forget to share it with anyone you think may benefit, and subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell icon. I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you for watching. Bye.